The Happy Ending by Mandy Zundel. Read for you by Mandy Zundel. Chapter 1. Every story has a turning point, a place in the tale where an integral decision or player sends the story toward its anticipated conclusion. Change that one point, and an entirely new story emerges. Each of us has grown up listening to the well-known tales of Jack and the Beanstalk, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and the 12 Dancing Princesses. How different these tales would be without the peddler with the magic beans, the serendipitous arrival of the wicked fairy before the last fairy had bestowed her gift, the fairy godmother, or the old lady in the woods with her cloak of shadows. Once upon a time there was a land called Andvara, where fairy tales were real. Dragons, fairies, kings, and peasants all lived together in this land. All played their own roles, and each was important. But the overwhelming power in Andvara was the happy ending. If ever a person's own story seemed doomed to failure, this power orchestrated a way to turn the story toward a more beneficial course. Wild coincidences were completely expected, and therefore seen as simply the way things are and should be. Now, this doesn't mean that some people couldn't choose a darker way, for villains and obstacles are always needed for a story to truly end happily. What would Snow White be without having to overcome the peril of the wicked queen? In fact, if a story needed a villain or hero and none were to be found, the happy ending would supply one by taking control of just the right person to fill the necessary role. Time and again, in different places and with different names, the stories played out. This became such a consistent pattern that no one thought anything of it, other than to wonder which story they had become a part of. And, time and again, the endings were always happy and simple. The needed information was always received in time, or just the right help was offered to conquer all quandaries. Some might have expected life to continue on this way forever. But the only constant in any land is change. Some change comes quickly, some gradually, and sometimes it comes with no warning at all. It was a beautiful fall day when the change occurred. At first, no one noticed that anything was amiss at all. As usual, in one small hamlet, this time in the kingdom of Glenfin, a boy named Jack and his mother were trying and slowly failing to scrape an existence out of the meager soil on their derelict farm. In Paymek, a king and a queen were getting ready to celebrate the birth of a princess and were busily writing invitations to every fairy in the land for the baby's christening. Of course, they forgot one, as was always the case. A young woman in the kingdom of Engwithal.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?